Right, welcome back. And to highlight the ongoing situation in the Palestinian territories and in the situation, we have with us over the phone His Excellency Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Good afternoon to you, Your Excellency.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you so much. And we have seen an escalation in the situation in the Palestinian territories now for more than a week. And first, let me see your reading to the escalation, particularly at this very particular time.
It seems that the whole world is engaged and nobody is free to have time to discuss such serious problems, and except who are concerned about what is happening in our region. Nobody is having enough time in order to concentrate on this. This is not the first time, by the way. And sometime you find that when the world is engaged with very serious problem like the Russian-Ukrainian problem, then nobody has enough interest or enough time in order to face other problems. But we are there, and I am of few people who think that such a very serious situation cannot continue like that. We are there, and in the future, whether it is in the medium term or long term, I believe that not for a long time we can wait and see what is going on. I admire what our people are facing, the problem in Jerusalem and Al-Aqsa Mosque. And what if you close your eyes and think what will be happening in the next 20 or 50 years? Is there any future for a country who is in a bad situation with all its neighbors occupying the Syrian Golan, occupying some parts of Palestine, do not accept any of the rights of the Palestinian people? So even the most closer friends of Israel do not see any real good future for them. And even the American president said some few weeks ago that the only future for Israel is to accept the two-state resolution. All those who are really have some good intention towards the region and towards Israel itself, they cannot see any future for a country who is against every single border of its geographic position. So, but thank God that Egypt in a position to advise all its neighbors in order to bring peace to the situation. And we shall continue there to do that. But really, many people do not expect that this will lead Israel towards any future in the medium and long period, and with its very hatred position towards all its neighbors. This cannot continue like that.
The issue, particularly this time, is in Jerusalem itself, Al-Quds, is inside Al-Aqsa Mosque, because the escalation we have seen happened inside the mosque, where Palestinians say the Israeli side is trying to change the status quo of the area there. We've seen condemnations from European countries. We have seen a UN Security Council closed doors session. We have seen Arab Ministerial Committee being held and condemning the situation. What kind of action do we need from the international community in order to calm the situation, return it back at least to normal and reject any kind of change to the status quo situation?
The bad thing that we have a sort of extremists. The extremists in Israel are becoming more and more in number and percentage of the whole country. On the other side, the good news is the whole world do not accept this position, do not accept the occupation of Israel to the occupied territory. Europe do not accept any exports coming from the settlements of Israel in the Palestinian territory. Europe do not accept this. The whole world is with the Palestinian question, except that there are some few countries with big powers are encouraging those extremists in Israel to continue this policy. So, but as I said, as long as it takes, we shall continue supporting our Palestinian brothers. Egypt, of course, is a big supporter of the Palestinians, and I don't think there is any family in our country without victims because of this question of Palestine. So let us continue like that, and no future for a country which is directing a policy which make of them a sort of very hatred country, along with every single border in this country. What sort of future for Israel with the hatred they are establishing? So let us wait and see. But of course we are doing our best with the regional and the international communities in order to bring them back to reason. And there is no future, I assure, for such an extremist policy against the Palestinians in their own land.
Yes. As we are speaking here, of course, you respectively said that the whole world is very much occupied with other incidents that are occurring worldwide. One of those is, of course, the Russian-Ukraine crisis, and the other would be the elections, the French elections, which are taking place. How do you view the French elections and repercussions, or how would it reflect on the Middle East at this very particular time?
France was mainly supporting the Palestinian question. Now we have the local elections of France, and here we have a new opposition against the people of reason in France. People who do not like any foreigners, they do not like Muslims, they do not like Arabs in general, and they are threatening our good relation with France. But I hope that tomorrow we shall see a good result of the election, which, of course, very interesting to us, that it's not only against the migrants in France, but it is against any Arab country. And of course, you know that we have millions of Arabs, millions of Egyptians living in Europe, and we want to keep them in a good position and to be positively looked at from the whole European country, especially in France. Because France is a special case. We have won a good position in Germany, for instance, where Islam is recognized, where the Arab language is recognized. France is still having this problem, not only from the extremists, but even from some parties who are against the foreigners, the Arabs and the Muslims. So it needs to have a long timing policy in order to restore our position as Arabs and as Muslims in Europe in general, especially in France.
Yes. Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister, thank you so much for being with us over the phone
Thank
and
you.
for your input as usual. And now we turn to the other file we have today in our episode, and France braces for Le Pen-Macron showdown. Let's watch.